Welcome back. We are once again playing some Flames of War. Today we're going to have Germans versus Americans. We're going to be playing 150 points of mid-war. Here's a look at our table. We have quite a bit of terrain set up. We've got like a town square there. We've got some fields off to the sides, some woods, some buildings. We've got airplane landing strip back there. We've got some barracks back here. So quite an organized set of terrain. Looks like this is some type of village that's been set up to be an airfield, and I believe the Germans are going to be attacking it, trying to keep the Allies from setting that up. We're going to have two objectives, one here and one here at the roadblocks. And we are still using the Clash of Steel scoring system and missions. So this is the one we're going with, the frontal attack, which is going to have an 8-inch deployment zone on both sides, except for, let's just switch that around because the Germans are going to be the attackers here. So there's a good look at our whole table, and we will go over to the armies. Here we are with 150 points of mid-war Germans. We are going to have a Panzer Grenadier formation with a two MG40 squads there. We've got two platoons of 7 Panzer Grenadiers in half tracks, another platoon of 5 Panzer Grenadiers in half tracks. We're going to have 4 of the half tracks with the 7.5 centimeter guns. That is our core formation. And then in support, we are going to have 2 HS-129s. We're going to break out the Stur Emils for this game and see what they can do. So hopefully they'll be worth their points. We're going to have a squad of 3 Lux. Yeah, we're using Panzer IIs as Lux, but that's what we have. We have in formation support, we have a unit of 4 Panzer IVs with the long 75s, and then we have a unit of 3 Panzer IIIs with the long 5 centimeters. So there we go. Again, that is 150 points of mid-war Germans. Let's go see what the Americans are bringing. All right, what do we have for 150 points of mid-war Americans?
So our first core formation is be led by a Sherman with 2 units of 4 Shermans. The other formation will be led by an armored division. Will be led by 2 guys in jeeps, and then we got 2 armored rifle platoons.
Okay.
For support, we got 4 105 millimeter guns, 4 M10s, 2 what are those things called? T28E1s, 2 P40s, and a Steward Observer.
Okay, that's quite a lot. Americans get a lot more than the Germans in mid-war, so that'll be fun. We'll see how we deal with all that infantry. This is probably the most infantry we've had on the table, outside of your Soviets, which nobody out infantries the Soviets. Okay, so there we are. We will get set up, and then we will bring you guys back after we're all set up. All right, we are all deployed for the frontal attack. Let's see. Over here on the German side, we have Panzer Grenadiers in their trucks. We've got Panzer IIIs. We've got the smaller Panzer Grenadier platoon along with the HQ. We've got the Lux hiding back here. The Stur Emils are hiding in the forest along with the other Panzer Grenadier platoon. Here are the half tracks with the 7.5 centimeter guns, and here are the Panzer IVs. Take me down the line of what's in the American side.
Shermans, artillery, armored platoon, HQ for the armor company, AA, Sherman HQ, armor platoon, M10s, Steward Observer to give myself a bit of observation coverage here, and Shermans.
All right, so there we are. We're all deployed. We will see who's going first. Actually, let's just go ahead and do that. Roll for first turn.
6.
Oh, looks like the Americans snatched it. The Germans only got a 5. All right, we will bring you guys back after American turn 1. All right, end of American turn 1, and this is where we're at. For the most part, the Americans are just moving up. What are they, 105 centimeter guns? They managed to just range in. They bailed out one half track. Oh, I'll have to test to see if he gets back in. But yeah, they bailed that one out. Otherwise, they just moved up. As it turns out, objective number 1 is a decoy, so we can't score any points off of that. We'll see if we get a tactics card later throughout the game to replace that. But for now, nobody's scoring points off of that. These half tracks have moved up, and they have captured this objective. And the rest of the American line has just moved up like so. So right now, the Americans are in a good position. They have 3 points for holding that objective to 0 of the Germans. So we will move over to German turn 1 and see what we can do. All right, see you after that. All right, not bad at the end of German turn 1. The Panzer IVs moved up to here. They bounced some shells off of those Shermans. The half tracks with the 7.5s, they managed to destroy one of the American half tracks over there. The guys bailed out. MGs for the half tracks here are out of range. The Sturr Emils blitzed up to here, and they took out one of the Shermans. Over here, the Lux crept up around the building and took out the 2 Jeeps. The commands got out and dashed into the buildings. Well, ran into the buildings. They didn't really dash. Over here, all these MGs and the anti-tank guns on the command half-tracks fired into the American half-tracks. We destroyed one, we bailed out another one, and there's the crew from the bailed out one. Over here, the Panzer III snuck behind the firehouse here, and they took out one M10 and bailed out another, and he did not remount at the end of the turn. So right now, this objective is contested, and the Germans destroyed a unit. So we are now tied at 4-4. So we're all tied up at the end of turn 1, and we're moving on to American turn 2. All right, end of American turn 2, and we have a double whammy right now. So first we had the decoy on objective number 1 that we can't score points off of that. And then we have a delayed off of objective number 2. We can't score points off of that one until turn 6. So now we are in a tough spot that we're only getting points for wiping out other units. So that's going to make things a lot more tricky until we get a tactics card from our deck that lets us swap out those objectives. But so on the American turn 2, the planes did show up, and we had some lucky AA firing from these half tracks and took one down. Yay! Our first time taking down a plane. On the rest of the American turn, the M10s over there managed to destroy one of the Panzer IIIs. They bailed one out, but he did remount at the end of the turn. We have I believe it was the bazookas that shot. No, I'm sorry. The bazookas missed. These guys, the Shermans, shot at my half tracks in the woods and bailed one out, who he still bailed out. All the machine guns over here shot at my infantry that used to be right there. That left this guy alone. He did pass his last stand test. So I was kind of worried about him. Those guys shot AA. This team over here got pummeled by the planes managed to range in. And what was the other thing that ranged in on them? The 105s? Yeah, the 105 centimeters ranged in using the what is that guy? Stuart Observer. So they really got pummeled. We lost a whole bunch of teams there. All that's left is just the command and one base left. My HQ half track got bailed out, and they haven't managed to remount. Over here, the Sherman HQ destroyed one of the Lux. And then moving down the line, what else happened? Nothing else really happened on this side of the table, right?
Not
Did you
really.
destroy? Oh no, yeah, the Shermans managed to destroy one of my Panzer IVs. Got a good hit over on there. So that is where we're at there. It's still going to be tied 4-4 because both of our objectives are either delayed or a decoy. So we will move over to German turn 2 and see if we can keep things going. All right, end of German turn 2. These guys got out of their half tracks and moved over here to the building. What are these? The half tracks with the 7.5 centimeter guns. They took out 2 of those American half tracks and bailed one out. The Panzer IVs bounced some shells off those Shermans and then did a shoot and scoot to here. One failed the cross test. The Stur Emils fired off into the Shermans, destroying 2, and then the remaining one failed his last stand and took off. So the Germans scored 3 points for taking out that unit. Over here, the Lux and the infantry fired off and took out some of the infantry over there. Moving down over here, the German HQ occupied the building. What's left of this squad moved over to here. This lone guy here and all the other infantry, they just fired off some shots and killed a couple bases of the American infantry. The half tracks took out a couple more, and then my anti-tank gun on this half track bailed out another American half track. The the Panzer IIIs, they bailed out 2 of the M10s, but they remounted at the end of the turn, so they're looking pretty good. And that is about it. Right now, the Germans are up with 7 points to 4, thanks to taking out those Shermans. But because of the objective cards, we still can't score points off of either objective, and neither one of us have drawn a tactics card in order to change it. So that is where we sit. So far, I'm liking the Stur Emils. They're definitely paying for themselves. Hopefully, they can keep up the good work. All right, we are going to move over to American turn 3. A good turn 3 for the Americans. The P-40 came in again and had a great round of shooting. The AA wasn't able to do anything, and it fired its machine guns off at these half tracks right here. Managed to destroy 2 and bail 1 out. The Shermans bailed out 2 of these half tracks, and then the M10s fired into them. They bailed out another and destroyed the 4th. So they're not looking too great. This infantry was getting tired of getting chewed up and withdrew into the building. Over here, the AA trucks moved up and destroyed the German HQ, infantry HQ that was in there. What else happened? Over on this side of the table, not a whole lot happened over here. The those what are they? 10.5 centimeter guns tried to bounce some
105 millimeter.
105 millimeters. Well, it's the same thing. 10.5 centimeters is the same as 105 millimeters. That's the beauty of the metric system. They bounced some shells off my Panzer IVs. And the infantry, they got out of the half tracks and withdrew to that airplane hangar. The Americans got 9 points out of this turn for they destroyed the HQ. That was 3 points. They finished off this infantry unit, and they finished off this infantry unit. So that snagged them another 6 points. So they are currently up with 13 points to 7 for the Germans as we head into German turn 3. Hopefully the German planes can show up and give us a bit of a boost here. So we will catch you guys back up after German turn 3, but right now the Americans are in the lead. All right, the Germans came back strong on this turn. Finally, the HS 129 showed up. They bailed out 2 Shermans and destroyed one, though it looks like one of them remounted at the end of the turn, but at least they showed up this turn, and none of the AA managed to hit them. These half tracks here all remounted at the end of the turn. Let's see. This guy is still bailed out, so there's nothing he can really do. The Panzer threes poked out, and they tried to fire some shots off into those Shermans, but they just bounced. Over here, the Sturmils came out of the woods, made their cross test, and took out the Sherman HQ over there. I was very pleased with that. These half tracks with the 7.5 centimeters, they bounced some shells off the side of that Sherman before he blew up. Over here, the Lux managed to bail out this, what was the last half track in that unit. And then he remounted at the end of the turn, but then failed his last stand. So he took off, and he is now counted as destroyed.
Can I say something?
Yeah,
I guess if you're going to run away, you might as well run away with wheels.
that's true. That is true. The Germans did get a tactics card that let us change this objective to precise location. So you have to be within 2 inches to score points off of that, as opposed to 4. So the Lux and the half tracks are within range. So the Germans have that one captured. These half tracks moved out of the woods. They did fail a blitz test. This guy failed his cross test. And the Panzer IVs moved up there and tried to fire some shots off at those guns, but the guns managed to save on their gun shields. So that is where we're at. For destroying a unit and capturing an objective, the Germans are now at 16 to 13 for the Americans as we head into American turn 4. So this one is really starting to heat up. My planes are going to get ready and fly off, and we'll see if the American planes come back in. Here we sit at the end of American turn 4. The Shermans managed to finish off the Panzer IIIs.
That was the M10.
Oh, the M10s finished off the Panzer IIIs. The Shermans went after the half tracks, right?
The HQ half track.
Oh, they took out the HQ half track. I'm just all over the place. This infantry came out of the building and tried to assault my half tracks in the woods and got themselves pinned and really gunned down. So now there's only 2 of them left. Moving down the line, what happened? Oh, that unit of infantry came out of the hangar back there, and they tried to assault these half tracks and got themselves pinned, and they withdrew into that smaller building. What took out? Oh, bazookas from those guys before the assault took out the Lux right here and knocked me out of the 2-inch range to hold that objective. So that kind of hurt. And the field guns back there, they managed to take out one of my Panzer IVs. So the Americans scored a lot of points in that turn for taking out units. So what are you up to now?
25, I believe.
25 to the Germans 16. So we will go into German turn 4 and see if we can turn things around. Not a bad turn 4 at all for the Germans. We poured our machine guns into this team and destroyed one of them. The other guy did manage to pass his last stand at the end of the turn. Over here, the Sturmils had to move up, and they took out another Sherman. There's only 2 of them left. The Panzer IVs blitzed and then moved up to here, and they managed to get a long shot off and take out one of those M10s. And then moving on here, these half tracks with the 7.5 centimeter guns took out the last of the American half tracks over here, so that was good. And my infantry moved up and held that objective. And then these half tracks moved up and fired their machine guns off into those artillery guns back there and destroyed one of them. So that is where we sit. The Germans, for destroying a unit and claiming an objective, we're up to 21, and the Americans still hold firm at 25. My planes failed to come in again, so we are headed into American turn 5, and we'll see if they can hold their lead. End of American turn 5, and this is where we're at. The AA trucks came around the building and shot into my infantry. They managed to take out one base. The artillery guns over there fired directly at my half tracks and took 2 of them out. That kind of hurts. Moving down over to here, this infantry team withdrew into the little shack there. The Shermans and the M10s fired off into my half tracks, destroying 3 of them. This last guy, he did pass his last stand, so we're kind of happy about that. And that's about it. So the Germans, again, got another 3 points for holding that objective. And did you get points for anything this turn? No. Okay, so the Germans are up to 24, but the Americans are still holding the lead with 25 as we go into German turn 5. Okay, so we are here at the end of German turn 5, and it looks like the Germans have definitely taken back the lead. The HS 129s came in again and bailed out 2 of those M10s. Then the Panzer IVs and some long shots took them out. So that was 3 points for taking out that squad. The Sturmils blitzed up to here and managed to take out the Shermans. So that was another 3 points for taking out that squad. The German infantry are still holding on to this objective, so that's 3 points there. The half tracks scooted around to the back here. They blitzed, destroyed those 2 AA half tracks of the Americans, and then did a shoot and scoot up to there. And these last 2 half tracks of that squad, they moved up through the field, and they fired their MGs off and managed to take out 1 of those artillery guns. So looking pretty good at the end with all those points together. The Germans are sitting at 33 points to 25 for the Americans. So how are the Americans feeling about a turn 6?
Not really all that great. I just don't feel like I don't have what it takes to turn the game around.
All right, so we are going to call this one here for the Germans. This was a fun game. I think the Americans might have a chance, but if their planes don't show up, then it's really going to be a downhill or an uphill fight for them if they try to stick it out for a turn 6. But after the beating I took at the last game of 40K, I'll take a win any way I can get it. So this was a fun list to play. I was a little worried about putting so many points into the Sturmils and the HS 129s, but I was pretty pleased with how the Sturmils did. The planes themselves, when they came in, I think they did great. But, the rules for planes are so-so, but I think we've kind of worked that out with our house rule. We are house ruling that planes come in on a 3 instead of a 4-up. So we do bend the rules a little bit there. But otherwise, it was a pretty good game. It was a very close game. How about you? Anything else you want to add?
I definitely say my men of the match are the planes and the M10s. The planes, I feel like they did definitely a bit more for me for the Americans than for the British, because their bombs, I think they actually did manage to kill some things with their bombs, and the one with the machine guns just tore up those half tracks.
Yeah, you took out most of these half tracks one turn, and you ate up almost an entire infantry platoon the turn before that. So yeah, they were really working well for you.
As for the M10s, I definitely think I'll keep them in any list I create in the future, since they're definitely good as like a bit of heavier firepower.
And especially in mid-war, I don't think there's much that can stand up to the firepower they pump out.
Yeah.
So I would definitely say my man of the match is going to be the Sturmils, because they took out that unit of Shermans over there. They took out this unit of Shermans over here. They took out your HQ, and I think they took out one of the M10s. So they were definitely beasts. They are worthy of the name Mid-War Monster. And I think to another extent, I would say my other man of the match is the little half tracks with the 7.5 centimeter guns, because they were quite useful at just moving around really fast and putting a lot of firepower out.
Yeah, I was not expecting them to just cut down my infantry in that one assault.
Yeah, that honestly that was a surprise to me too. I did not think because I was thinking once you said you were going to assault them, I was going to lose this whole flank over here.
Yeah. As for Stir Meals, yeah, I definitely feel like they turned the tides for you this game. They just absolutely tore up all my Shermans.
Yeah, I definitely think they're not unbeatable because if anything can get close to them, their armor is like the same as the regular Panzer IVs. So you really have to stay out of range of the enemy. And luckily, this turn I managed to do it. I was kind of worried that you might try to do like a last minute blitz or something and take these Shermans into them, but I was kind of glad you didn't. But yeah, that was a fun game. I really liked how this one was a close one. All right, we're thinking what we're going to do is we're going to keep this same table set up, and we are going to play a game of Clash of Steel on it, and we are going to have the Germans trying to defend it as the Americans try to retake it. So we will hopefully bring that to you guys next weekend. After that, it's probably going to be back to fantasy. You got anything else?
I think I might be good. For the next thing of Flames of War, expect some Eastern Front.
Nice. Yeah, we're definitely going to bring the Soviets back out when we get back to Flames of War. All right, thank you guys for watching. Have a good one.